Hello, and welcome to Yoga with Yo Gabriella. My goal is to enhance the quality of your experiences and your energy so that you can embody your essence, to understand the language of your body, and to realign the posture of your heart so you can fully indulge with the richness of life. So, whether you're new or you're coming back, I'm so blessed to have you part of this tribe to share this experience with you, and I'm truly honored that you're here. So whenever you're ready, grab your mat and let's get started. So whenever you're ready, we're going to start in a cross-legged seated position. Take a moment to just connect with your body. So maybe you rest your eyes. Maybe you roll the shoulders down and back, get out any kinks. Maybe you rock your neck from side to side. Just see if you can let go of today, let go of work, let go of the action, the doing, the hustling, and come into being. Come into this present moment. Come into the sensations of your body. Come into what your breath is telling you. Are you breathing fast or slow, shallow or deep? Just take a little observation of what's going on. And then we're going to take 3 deep cleansing breaths together. So what this is it's going to be a deep breath in from the nose, a hold at the top, and then an exhale out of the mouth. So whenever you're ready, go ahead, take a deep breath in from the nose, hold it at the top, and exhale out. Take another deep breath in, hold, and exhale out. We're going to take one more. So go ahead, feel the belly rise, feel the oxygen going in your nostrils, down the back of your throat. Hold it, and sigh it out. Take a moment just to notice and witness what it feels like to be here, the presence. And then from here, we're going to start to inhale, lift our hands up over our head. Take a deep breath. See if you can relax the shoulders down. You feel the ribs stacked over the hips so they're not flaring out. They're nice and tucked. We're going to interlace our hands behind our head. Kind of feel the stretch on our shoulders, on our chest. Press the elbows behind you. Press your head into your hands. And on your exhale, start to round your way forward, bringing your elbows down towards your shins, tuck in the chin. And inhale, slowly lifting yourself up. Exhale, round the back, bring the elbows towards the shins. And inhale your way up. We're going to take 3 more of these. See if you can go at your own pace. Go at the rhythm of your breath. On your exhales, you come down. On your inhales, you expand yourself nice and up. See if you can feel the smoothness going through your spine. Or does it feel choppy? Go ahead, take one more. And inhale your way up. Inhale, you can lift your hands up overhead again. Bring the navel in towards the spine a little bit, and we're going to take a deep twist open towards the right. The left hand comes over the right knee, and the right hand comes behind you. Taking a deep twist. Now we're just twisting the spine in a unique or a different way. Your gaze is over your right shoulder. And notice if you're collapsing through the back or can you lift up through the heart space. Breathe fully into the belly. And inhale, your hands come back up towards center. And exhale, twist open towards the left. The right hand comes on the left knee, and the left hand comes behind you. Your gaze is over your left shoulder. Maybe you're high up on your left fingertips, so we're not leaning on our left hand. We're utilizing the core. Take a breath in, and exhale out. Inhale your hands back up towards center. And we're going to move our spine in our next rotation or spinal movement. Right hand is going to come down towards the right hip. Inhale, lean that left hand up and over like a rainbow, making sure that our left knee is relaxed. So if you notice that your knee comes up, maybe you've gone too far, so maybe don't lean so much to the right. And then keep those fingers activated on the left hand. So it's like we're reaching on up and over. So here we're getting into the lateral bending of the spine. On the sagittal plane. Inhale your hands back up towards center. And exhale, left hand comes down. And then reach that right hand up and over. Notice which side feels open, which side feels a little bit more restricted. Your body's always trying to tell you something, so what is it telling you? Activate those right fingers, reach thoroughly through that right hand. Take a deep breath in and exhale out. Inhale, make your way back up towards center. Relax your hands back down. Maybe you feel the blood flow going back to your fingertips. We're going to interlace our hands behind our back. So the palms are touching. It's kind of like you're holding your hand. We're going to roll the shoulders down and back. Press the knuckles into the floor. We're going to press our heart space open and lift the chin up. So you should feel a good stretch on the shoulders, maybe the chest, maybe even the neck. Take a deep breath in. And exhale out. Relax the knees. Relax the hips. And slowly start to tuck the chin and release the hands. Ungrip them and then make any shoulder movements, circles, anything that feels good for you. If you want to make any neck circles, you can sway your head from one side to another. Now that we've got the upper body kind of moving and open, let's get into our legs and our hips. So first we're going to bring our feet out in front of us, keeping it about hip distance apart, maybe a little bit wider. Our hands are going to be placed behind us, and we're just slowly going to rock our knees from one side to another. They can come down towards the mat. Maybe you feel the rotation on your heels, on your feet. Yeah, there you go. See if you can feel the junction between the femur, the top of the thigh bone, meeting with your hip socket. Can you feel the hip flexors? We're going to do 2 more of these on each side. Notice how we're also getting a little bit of a spinal rotation in the lower back as well. And then go ahead, lift your knees back up towards center. We're gonna extend the right leg out in front of us. The left foot is gonna come in towards the right groin. We're gonna inhale our hands up overhead. Twist our torso towards our right leg, towards our right foot. So we're facing our right leg and starting to hinge from the hip, leaning from the heart space. Start to stretch your hands out in front of you until you feel the stretch on the hamstring. You can keep a microbound within that knee. And then when you feel pretty at your edge, then you can round your back, the upper back, and tuck the chin. Keep that left knee heavy and breathe through any sensations. See if you can guide your breath. Maybe you find the boundary of your breath. Where does your breath stop in your body? Take one more deep breath in and exhale out. Slowly, you can make your way back up towards center. Bring the right foot in. And then go ahead and extend the left leg out. I think somebody just came in the waiting room. Okay. Then go ahead and extend that left leg out. The right foot comes in. Relax the right knee. Inhale the hands up. Tuck the navel in towards the belly. The chest twists open towards your left thigh, the foot. And then go ahead and hinge forward, reaching for the foot, the ankle, the knee, whatever it is for you. Maybe this side is easier, maybe it's harder. And maybe it's different than other times that you also practice. Maybe you go deeper than usual, or maybe it feels a little bit tighter than usual. Take a deep breath. See if you can breathe fully in through your belly. And slowly start to lift your way back up. So we're going to start to activate the quad a little bit and the hip flexor. So if you have your block, go ahead, bring your block. We're going to place it out in front of you, and I want you to choose what level you want. So you might not even need to use the block. It might be challenging enough as it is. But what we're going to do is place the block right by our foot, right by our ankle. You're going to extend your legs out. You can keep your legs about hip distance apart. You can go ahead, press into your hands. What I want to make sure that you're doing is that you're keeping your body up straight and you're not, let me see if I can show you this way, and you're not rounding as you lift your leg up. So I want you to keep that torso up nice and tall and lift up through the quad and through the hip flexor. You'll notice that if you're not engaging properly, if you start to round the back to lift it up. Does that make sense to you guys? Yeah, cool. So with that being said, press into the hands. We're going to lift the right foot up, or whichever foot that you have the block on. Move it up and over around the block. If that was easy, then you can go ahead and make that height taller. You're going to lift that leg up and bring it back over the block. There you go. If that's even easy for you, see if you can go up a little bit higher. This is just testing and expanding our range of motion. And I know even though we do sit all day, typically, it makes it kind of hard for our hip flexors to be mobile. It's only moving in one direction. So here we get to mobilize it and move it in a different directions. and also in a different position as our knee is straight versus it being bent in a chair. So again, notice if you're rounding the back. Notice if your core is also engaged. Can you activate those pelvic floor muscles? And I know I'm feeling it, so I'm sure you guys are too. We're going to take 2 more of these. See if you can spread your toes nice and wide as you do this as well. Notice where your body tends to get weak and where it starts to collapse. You can go ahead, grab the other block or place a block on the other side. Notice what your leg feels like, if you need to shake it out or anything like that. And then whenever you're ready, go ahead, flex the left toes and lift the leg up and bring it up around the block. Again, don't judge if it's weaker or if it's harder or even if it's easier. Maybe you notice some snap, crackle, pops or clicking. See if you can, how does your body need to be maneuvered? What muscle is causing that, or when do you feel that click? Can you move slowly so that you can find where that click is? And then can you find the misalignment? Can you activate a different type of control as you do that? Find your breath. And so for me, I feel like a clicking in my hip, but what helps me is when I also activate my right foot and utilize both of them as a whole. So sometimes it's not just one part of the body that we focus on, but it's the body as a whole. Go ahead, we're gonna do 2 more. Good. You can remove the block, make any movement that feels good for the body. We'll definitely take a good quad stretch. So whenever you're ready, let's get onto our hands and knees, come into a tabletop position. Our hands will be stacked underneath our shoulders. Our knees will be hip width apart. And you can just rock your hips from side to side, starting to warm up the hips a little bit more. And then if you have your blocks nearby, definitely have the blocks near you, just in case if you want some support. But we're gonna bring the right foot in between the hands as if we're coming into a low lunge. Have that right knee stacked over the right ankle. You can untuck the left toes. And maybe here you're already feeling a good stretch. And then if you want a deeper stretch, come on up and lift the hands up overhead. Now I want you to pay attention if your ribs are flaring out, or can you kind of keep them relatively tucked? You'll notice that maybe your hips come up a little bit, so we're not bending so much into that front knee, but we lift up to find that alignment. And then if you want a deeper hip flexor stretch, go ahead, place your right hand over your right thigh, and then stretch that left hand up and over while pressing down into that left knee. So we're squeezing the left glute, pressing the left knee down away from us, and you should feel a good stretch on that hip flexor. Find your breath. Maybe you find a focal point to help your balance. Take a deep breath in and exhale out. Take one more deep breath in and exhale out. So you can release that right hand. Bring your hands back down to frame that right foot. We're going to press into the left hand Inhale, twist that right hand up towards the ceiling to take a nice twist. So notice if your right knee tends to draw away from you, can you hug that right knee in towards the center, hugging the midline? Take one more deep breath in. And exhale, release that right hand. And what we're going to do is we're going to grab our block. We're going to place this, we're going to activate the hamstring a little bit. So you can place the block behind your thigh. So there's two ways that you can do it. You can place the long block right to lean on the back of your thigh, or you can lift that left foot and you can kind of have it be like a triangle. So one point is where your heel is, the other point is where your hamstring is, and you're kind of squeezing that block. Yeah, there you go. We're going to hold here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go ahead, you can release that block. And then we're going to go ahead, draw that right leg back. If you need to make any circular movements with that right leg, you can. Straightening it out. And then we're going to do the same thing on the left side. So go ahead, bring that left foot in between your hands. See if you can stack the left knee over the left ankle. Find your alignment. So if you need to keep the legs hip distance apart. And then if you want a deeper stretch, you can go ahead, lift the hands up overhead. Engage in the core, making sure that the ribs are tucked, that they're not flaring out. So maybe you notice you're pressing into your left heel from this. And then if you want a deeper stretch with that hip flexor, go ahead, place your left hand on that left thigh, and then reach the right hand up and over towards the left. Finding your breath, finding a focal point. And then exhale, go ahead, bring your hands back down towards the mat. Press into the right hand, and then twist that left hand up towards the ceiling. Taking a good deep breath in, and exhale out. Slowly, with control, you can bring that left hand back down towards the mat. Grabbing the block, we're going to place that block behind our right thigh. So depends how much or intense you want the block stretch. You can go ahead, place it the long way, or you can have the block be placed like the base of a triangle. We're going to hold here for a couple seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go ahead, remove that block. You can release your right leg. And before we release the left leg, we're going to go ahead, straighten that left leg to stretch that hip flexor. Or to stretch the hamstring, If you want to do a little bit of mobility, walking forward and back, you can. Take one more deep breath in and exhale out. Slowly start to bend back into that left knee. Release that left leg. You can extend it back if that feels good for you. Make any circles. And then we're going to do the hamstring stretch on the right side. So the right foot comes in between the right hands or between the hands. And then go ahead, send the hips back and straighten that right leg. Now you can have a micro bend within the knee. It doesn't have to be completely straight, but I do want you to feel a good hamstring stretch. If the toes want to come up, they can. If they want to be flat down on the mat, they can as well. Whatever feels comfortable for you. Making sure that you're breathing into this space. If you want to rock forward and back, getting some mobility in, you can as well. And go ahead, bend into that front knee. Release that right leg back. Make any movement that feels good for you. Here you get to explore your body a little bit. How does your body want to be moved? What's the next thing for you? From here, if you want to come on the long way of your mat, you can. We're going to come into a half frog. Or a full frog, excuse me. So we're going to start to walk our knees out towards the side. We want our knees to be in line with our hips. Yep. And then our ankles to be in line with our knees. So we're creating a 90-degree angle, and then our toes are going to point outwards. So here you can slowly rock forward and back if that feels comfortable for you. You can maintain the posture just by staying here and coming into your breath. If you want to come down onto your forearms or come all the way down, it really depends on your level, your flexibility, your range of motion. And just do whatever feels comfortable for you. There's no right or wrong. Just making sure that we're breathing through all of the sensations that we feel. Notice your body inviting you as it starts to open up millimeter by millimeter with your breath. Go ahead, take one more deep breath in and exhale out. Slowly, you can start to press back into your hands. Be really gentle with how you get out of this pose. Starting to move the knees in little by little until you come back into a tabletop position. From here, we're going to do a little bit more of the upper body. So we're going to do a thread the needle. So we're going to press into the left hand. The right hand is going to come up towards the ceiling. And then on your exhale, your belly button tucks in towards your spine. And we're going to send the right hand, the palm faces up underneath the left armpit, coming onto our right shoulder and our right ear. See if you can pull back the hips a little bit so they're squared, so we're not leaning onto one side more than the other. If you want a deeper stretch, you can extend the left hand out in front of you, reach into the top of the mat, or you can wrap your left hand around the back, reaching for your right thigh. So whatever feels comfortable for you, for the shoulder, regardless of where you're at, see if you can relax your left shoulder. Maybe you bring attention to where your head is resting and where it makes contact with the mat. Maybe you notice it's your temple. See if you can massage this area. Maybe you rock your head a little bit to massage this place. We're going to be here for another 2 to 3 deep breaths. So breathing fully in through the belly, the back, and then go ahead, bring your left hand back to frame the face. Press into your left hand and slowly come out of the pose. Coming back into that tabletop position. Make any movements that your body needs to readjust itself before we do the same thing on the opposite side. From here, we're going to press into the right hand. The left hand will slide up towards the ceiling. We're going to tuck that belly button in towards the spine and send the left hand, the palm faces up, underneath that right armpit, coming onto the left shoulder, the left ear, and coming into that thread the needle. Take whichever variation feels comfortable for you. If you want to extend that right hand out in front of you, or if you want to wrap the right hand behind the back, you can also do that. Just see if you can relax both areas, both shoulders. Take one more deep breath in. And exhale. Go ahead, bring that right hand in front of the face. Just gently push yourself back up into that tabletop position. From here, we're going to come into a puppy pose. So see if you can remain your hips stacked over your knees as you start to walk your hands out in front of you until your chin, your chest, your forehead comes down towards the mat. You can lift the elbows off of the mat or you can place them down, whatever feels comfortable for you and your body. Just making sure that we are not sitting onto our hips. You can tuck the navel in towards the spine if it's starting to feel a little discomfort on the lower back. And lift in through the pelvic floor muscles to support the spine. Take one more deep breath in and exhale out. Slowly you can start to press into your hands, coming back into that tabletop position. We're just going to create a little movement into the spine, kind of move everything around since we just opened it. So at first we're going to come to sit onto our heels, coming into a variation of child's pose with our hands out in front of us. Tuck the chin, feel the roundness of the back, the curvature. And then start to lean into your hands, press yourself up, and then continue the momentum until your pelvis and your thighs touch the ground, coming into an upward facing dog, where you lift the head up, you lift the chest, your hands are straight. And then exhale, tuck the chin, send the hips back, engage in the core through this movement, sitting back down onto your heels. So think of like a wave-like flow where you're pressing into your hand. Feel the roundness of your back as you peel yourself up. And then the inverse where you start to concave the back, pressing the pelvis into the mat and lifting the chest up. Exhale. See if you can continue with the momentum of your breath, the pace of your breath. Can you control both the movement and the breath to align and synchronize itself? Go ahead, take 2 more. Notice what muscles are being activated to support this. And also, how can you relax these muscles? How can you find the balance between effort and ease? And then whenever you're on your final round, go ahead, sit in child's pose just for a couple breaths, allowing the spine to kind of readjust itself, calming the nervous system. And slowly start to press into your hands, lifting your way back up into that tabletop position. We're going to bring our knees together over towards the left side of the mat. So the knees are touching. And then go ahead, start to drop your hips down towards the right. You should feel a good stretch on the right side of the body. Take a breath in. And then exhale, start to bring your chest down towards the mat. You can drop your right ear or your left ear down towards the mat. And then you can open up your hands into a T position. Allow your spine to unwind. Allow the inverse of your hips to be adjusted from the frog pose. And just start to feel your body feeling safe and comfortable with the support beneath you, the ground. Take another deep breath in. Feel the belly rise and fall. And then slowly you can start to press back into your hands. Lift your chest up. And come onto your hands and knees for the tabletop position. Wiggle out any kinks that feels good for you. And then go ahead, bring your knees over towards the right corner of the mat, or the right side of the mat. Your knees touch, and then drop your hips over towards the left. You might feel that good stretch here. Take a deep breath in before you come down onto your chest. And then slowly you can make your way down. Stretching your hands out towards the side, or they can come up overhead, whatever feels comfortable for you. Your left ear can come down, or if you want a deeper stretch, your right ear comes down. Take one more deep breath in. And exhale out. Slowly you can start to press back into your hands, pushing your way back up. And then this time we're going to roll over onto our backs. Lay down on our backs. Our knees can be bent. Allow our spine to readjust itself. Maybe you roll the shoulders down and back. Maybe you sway your knees from one side to another. What does your body need right now? From here, we're going to come into a shoelace pose. So go ahead, bend the knees back up. We're going to cross the left leg over the right. So our knees are touching, the knees are stacked on top of one another. And then slowly, you can draw the knees in towards the chest. You can grab the knees, you can grab the shins, you can grab the ankles. You should feel a good stretch on the outside of those hips, specifically the left one, the one that's on top. And just see if you can breathe here. Take one more deep breath in. And exhale slowly. You can draw the knees back down. Release the cross. We're going to do the same thing on the opposite side. So go ahead, cross the right leg over the left. You can hold here, or you can draw those knees in towards the chest, taking a grip on either side, hugging the knees. Maybe you incorporate a little rock from side to side. That's okay if you don't. And just notice the different areas that you're feeling the stretch. See if you can start to relax the shoulders, relax the lower back. This can be a really passive stretch that you don't have to do anything. Take one more deep breath in and exhale out. You can slowly drop your knees back down, release the cross. We're going to get into one more pose. So if you have your block nearby, we're going to come into a fish pose. So you can roll over onto either side to lift yourself up. We're going to place the block underneath. It's going to go on our backs. So we're going to lean on the block. The base of the block should be relatively where the last of our ribs are. Now, this is a gauge. You can always move it up higher. You can always move it up low, move it down lower. Just rest your back on it and allow your head to hang over the block. Your arms can come up over a head. They can be out into a T position. If this is very uncomfortable for the base of the neck, you can always place another block underneath the neck. But here we just get to open up the chest, open up the shoulders. Notice the sensations that you're feeling. We're not going to be here for too long. So see if you can embrace it and enjoy the stretch for what it serves. Take a deep breath in from the nose and side out. Slowly you can bring your hands by your side, gently tuck the chin and roll over onto either side to remove the block. And then we're going to lay back down on our backs, coming into our final resting pose. where we extend our legs out in front of us. Our hands can be out by the side or by our hips, whatever feels comfortable for you. Take a moment to roll the shoulders down and back. Relax the jaw. Relax the forehead. And just take a moment for your body to integrate the movement, the space, anything that came up for you. Just allow it to be. Where you get to witness the stillness of beingness, and you don't have to do. Just be here. Go ahead, take a deep breath in from the nose. And exhale out. Slowly you can start to wiggle your fingers, your toes. Maybe you start to make some movement in the neck. And then maybe you take a deep stretch with your hands up overhead. And then whenever you're ready, whenever your body allows, you can gently roll over onto either side and make your way up to a cross-legged seated position. See if you can just notice the difference that you feel, the presence of being, where you gotta let everything go. And maybe you ask yourself, how can I tap into this state more frequently? Your hands can come to prayer pose in front of your heart. Take a moment to honor yourself. Honor yourself for showing up today. You're moving your body, taking care of this temple. And may you continue to shine your light forward. Thank you for practicing with me today. I'm truly so grateful to have shared this experience with you. If you are looking to continue feeling expansive, experiencing salvation with a rich quality of life, then please support by subscribing, engaging, and liking this video. Until we meet again, Malama Pono.